in high school, I had a sister who was 3 years younger than me. So like I was a senior in high school, my brother was a junior, she was a freshman.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And there was a black kid in one of her classes that sat behind her. He kept like hitting her in the head with stuff, hitting her in the head with stuff, hitting her in the head with stuff, punching her in the back during class and all sort of kind of stuff. Who knows? You probably liked her for all
Probably did.
you know.
Yeah. At that age, that's probably what it is.
You're dumb.
Yeah.
You're just dumb.
Right.
And it never stopped. It didn't stop. And finally, you know, she's like getting all upset, coming home every day. And I'm like, all right, gotta do something about this. But I was at least, you know, savvy enough to go, we ain't gonna let this turn into something racial. We're just gonna say this kid's a dumbass and somebody needed to scare her.
Right.
So there's one other guy, I won't name anybody's name, but this our guy I'd known since like the 5th grade, black guy, like 6'6", or big, one of the basketball stars. I called him and said, man, here's the deal. This is what's going on, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I said, I'm not going to hurt him, just go scare him a little bit. He's like, cool.
Right.
So we knew this kid, we knew what the schedule was, we knew every day he was going to come out a certain time to go in his bathroom. And me and my brother are waiting. We're hanging out, he goes in there, we went in, didn't hurt him, scared him a little bit, had him up against the wall, you know, made him pee his pants, that kind of thing, like that. And just came back out, and you know, my friend, the senior black guy, just looked at him and said, "It's done. It's done.
It was finished."
Right. He's like, "Cool. It's done." And then he got a hold of the guy. He's like, "You stupid. What are you doing?"
Right. Like why?
And here's the message of that stupid little story from my past. You communicated and you showed respect.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Instead of just charging in there and punching up, and then it becomes a racial
Yeah,
thing.
because if y'all did that, that would have been the first thing they thought.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Black guy, like why? Yeah.
I did that because I remember, and I don't know how old you are now, but I was like,
I'll be 53.
8 years old. So you were born about this time when they had all the riots in '68, the Watts riots and riots all over the country, race riots. And I remember that, and I remember them sending us home from school early and all this other stuff. And when I'm like, reached the point where I'm like, okay, I've heard enough about this knucklehead, something has to happen. I'm like, well, I want to be the guy that starts the next
Not this time.
So I'm going to talk to the guys who are the unquestioned leaders.
Right.
You know, he just needs to be scared. You know, he needs to learn how to treat a young lady, not smacking her. And the way it was handled, everybody was cool. And I saw the kid in school a couple of days later. I'm like, we're good now. He's like, good. I said, don't hit girls, man.
Right.
You don't hit girls.
Right. Yep.
That's it.
Yep. That's a good story.
It's just like.
Yep. I had one similar. I know we went to get in time, but it's like when I was at Bladensburg, it was a lot of the MS-13 game was there, and so they did a thing on. They were doing a thing on certain schools, so I got a skit. It was like a 30-minute thing about the school and what we're trying to do in the program and stuff like that. So long story short, what happened is I had told the Hispanic population, because I had the school was 50%, like it was like 45% black, like 45% Hispanic, and then the rest was like, you know, white or others like that. So for me to build a football team, I had to get the Hispanics to want to play football. Right. So I said to them, you know, when the thing I told them, I told them that if they teach me Spanish, I'll teach them football. You know, American football.
Clever.
Like that, right? So a lot of them, you know, brought to that. Like I talked about the relationships. Yeah. I was building a relationship with them, let them know that I want to be, you know, I'm here, you here, I want to become part of your culture. So long story short, this one guy came out, couldn't speak hardly no English at all, right? His mother could speak just a little bit, and he was a big kid. He was like 6'4", like 280, right? Whoa. And he came out to start playing. He got hurt, so he couldn't play. So, but me and him built a relationship. So one day we would get to come. The football team would get to come up for practice. The soccer team was practicing already. The soccer team mostly was Hispanic. And I look up and I see like 40 guys coming around the corner, like all Hispanic. So now I'm looking at my friend. The neighbor said, "What's going on?" He said, "Oh, they're coming to get somebody." Right? So they got by the fence, and lo and behold, I saw him. So I called him over real quick, right? And I asked him, and I said, "What's going on?" And then he just looked at me. I said, "What's going on?" He pointed to somebody on the soccer field like that. So I knew something happened prior. So I just looked at him, and I was like, "Please, not now," you know, like that, right? And he looked at me, and he was like, "Coach," he nodded his head. And he turned around and said something, and they all left. So I'm just bringing that to say that when you talk about like how you stop something from happening with that, right? It's like, because you evidently had a relationship with this guy enough to be able to go to him and him not say, man, forget you, white boy. You know, and so building relationships like that can deactivate or de-escalate a lot of situations where it goes back to like the conflict, you know, in Atlanta.
I think it's respect and communication, because it didn't need to be bigger than it was. It didn't need to be anything than what it was.
Right.
If I could just say one thing to sum that whole piece up, there is just because a black man and a white man have a beef, don't mean it's about race.
Not at all.
Exactly.
Not at all.